Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander, and boy did I prove that on last week's episode. Pretty big misplay at the very beginning. That was just me being stupid. No justification for it. Uh, but I took some notes, mental notes, and going to work on getting better with that kind of stuff. We are going to go ahead and jump right in. We have the new matchup. We've got Shrines, Alela, Dragons, and Kemba. Now, we do not have any new decks right now because I really don't, like I've mentioned before, I don't want 1,000 decks because they won't see the light of day other than just a little bit of play here on the channel. So I'm trying to keep it at a conservative, and I use that term very loosely, 22 decks. So I want to keep them for a while before I start making new ones. I do have some piles slowly growing of cards to go in new decks, but I'm not going to try and focus on anything for quite a while. I want to try and maybe upgrade the ones I have, tweak them, and see, how they go. So again, we've seen these decks before, but not in this particular matchup. And I think most of these decks are far enough in the past that they should be, pretty fresh. They should be fresh again to see. So we're going to start. I rolled the dice already, and Dragons is going to go first. So we will draw a card for turn, play a mountain, tap it for a soul ring. I do not have a 2-drop, so we will pass. Draw a card for turn. I'll play a swamp. And we're going to go ahead and pass. Draw a card for turn over here. I'm going to play a mirrored landscape, comes in tapped. Hopefully this will be a good start for, well, it's not a great start for Shrines, but I got some decent lands and some rampy stuff in there, so we'll see how that goes. We're going to pass. Draw for the mighty Kemba. I also need to be careful about my touching the table. We had a lot of camera wobble bounce last time, which I need to watch out for again. Arcane Lighthouse coming in, does not come in tapped, but I do not have any 1-drops. But anyway, it was, it's one of those things where when you start to get used to something, you start to forget the importance of not doing things. So it's like this first couple episodes, once the upgrade happened, I was touching the decks and the table a little more gingerly, so we didn't have too much wobble. But then I kind of just got used to it and forgot. So then we started like last game, get quite a bit. So we will untap over here, upkeep, draw, play an island for turn. I now have both colors for this commander. And we will tap 1, 2, 3 to play Bonder's Ornament. Add 1 mana of any color to my mana pool. I do not have a 2-drop, so we will pass. Dragons over there ramping up nicely. We'll draw for turn. Play an island. No 2-drops, so we will pass. Going to untap over here. Draw for turn. Play an island, and then I will tap both to play Arcane Signet over here. Nice Infinity Gauntlet style Arcane Signet that I like. Looks pretty cool, but that's all we can do, so we'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. The all-important plains for turn in this deck. Mono white needs a lot of them. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play a mountain. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can definitely cast my commander. And you know what? Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, and then blue and red to cast. Lozan, Dragon's Legacy. It's a 4/2 flyer that says whenever you cast an adventure spell or dragon spell, Lozan, Dragon's Legacy deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target that isn't a commander. I like to call this Lindsay Lozan. I know that's corny and stupid, and probably everybody makes that joke, but I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. That is all we can do, however, on this turn, so we're going to go ahead and pass. After watching last few weeks worth of episodes as I edited them, I realized that I do need to stop being so wishy-washy and be more aggressive in my games in terms of attacking. If you've noticed, like I did enjoy the deck that it was a massive standoff, and it didn't really last that long. Actually, it was still only around an hour. Maybe it was an hour. Maybe that episode was the hour and a half. I'm not sure, but Still, we don't need just 15 creatures here, 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 and then just passing turn the entire time. So I'm going to make sure that I start attacking when I can attack. We're going to play a plains over here. We now have all three colors of this commander. Tap all 3 mana to play Altar of the Pathnon. It is a artifact, taps for 1 mana of any color. If you control a god or demigod or a legendary enchantment, you gain a life, which that's probably not going to be important. And if your devotion to each color and each combination of colors is, your devotion is increased. Basically, if you know anything about the character or the commander, that is Alela, it's all about artifacts. You make an artifact, you play an artifact, you make a fairy token. So it's really just about dumping as many artifacts as I can. But I haven't tweaked this deck in quite some time, so it functions well. However, one board wipe and you're stuck because you've already dumped all of your equipment, so there's nothing you can do. So I need to adjust it and go back through the cards at some point soon to see if maybe there's a way to add more low cost artifacts in there, or maybe find a way to bounce artifacts so that even if I do get a board wipe, I can like bounce the cards that are already on there and get more fairies back in. But as it stands, that's all we can do here, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. 1, 2, and actually I'm going to crack Mirrored Landscape to get 2 forests onto the battlefield tapped, I believe, yes. So forest. Okay, that's all we can do here. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a plains for turn. I'm going to tap all 3. Play Nettlecyst, living weapon, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Equip cost of 2. We're going to do that to set up for Kemba so that we can hopefully get to a point where it's like get Kemba in, equip it immediately, and get to go. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Going to play a Reliquary Tower for turn. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. We're going to tap 2 red, 1, 2, and 3 to play Demanding Dragon. It is a flying 5/5. When Demanding Dragon enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target opponent unless that player sacrifices a creature. Well, actually, this is nice because we can do that on anybody because no one has a creature to sacrifice, so they have to take the damage. So here we go. We got some triggers on the stack. When you cast a dragon spell, deal damage equal to its mana value, which is 5, to any target that isn't a commander. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal 5 damage to you, and then when it enters the battlefield, it will deal 5 damage to you because you have no creatures to sacrifice. And finally, since we've said we're going to start being more aggressive, we're going to go to combat. It's a flying 4/2. We're going to send that at you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, no, 4. Go back up, thank you. So yeah, so now everyone's been hit. That's a pretty strong turn, and we've definitely made dragons the target. But I like how it's functioning pretty quickly today. That's nice. This deck also needs a big upgrade. I need to buy better dragons and more of them, and find ways to increase the ramp even more because most dragons, if you know anything about them, are very mana expensive. 5. This is like a low cost dragon. Most of them are 6, 7 mana to get out. So in order to drop more than one at a time, you need to have a lot of mana already on the board. So I never got around to really trying to deconstruct and make this better. I enjoyed it the way it was. It didn't do anything super special, but it did what I wanted it to do. But I do need to take this apart at some point and, give it the old upgrade. But we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play a snow-covered swamp. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Alela, full provocateur. She is a 2/3 flying, death touch, and lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0, and whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. She's an incredible commander. Like there's a lot of value for those 4 mana. Now, granted, it's like 3 different colors and a colorless, but even so, that's not that big a deal. I mean, we got it pretty easily enough, so I know she's a very popular commander because of all of her stuff. I have a friend who has an enchantment version of her. This is an artifact heavy one myself, but she's definitely up there in terms of my favorite decks. But like I said, it will need an upgrade. However, that's all we can do right now. Let me check the old Handaroo, but I do not have a 1-drop mana thing, so we're going to pass. Okay, untap over here. Upkeep. Draw. All right, so we are going to, well, yes. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Tetria Crystal. It's an artifact that taps for either green, blue, or red. And then I'm going to tap that and tap the Final Forest to play Destiny Spinner. 2/3 creatures and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. Very important. You can also pay 4, one of them being green. Target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of enchantments you control, and it's still a land. I wanted to get that out because now, if you know my channel even slightly, you know I don't really play counterspells in any deck, so it's kind of irrelevant, but I'm trying to also play smart Magic, not just smart against myself. So that's a very strong card to get out first before I try and get the commander out or any other important enchantments. That way, ideally, they have to destroy her before they can counter it. But that is all we can do here. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Going to play another Plains. While I'm not going to play Kemba just yet, I know it seems odd, but I want to be able to play her and equip her. Although, you know what? Smart move, I guess, is to play her first because that way, when I do equip this thing onto her next turn, she's ready to attack. So I will play Kemba, Ka Regent. 2/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 2/2 white cat creature token onto the battlefield for each equipment attached to Kemba. So obviously, it's very heavy equipment deck. It's all about giving her 1,000 swords and, battle armor and stuff, and then sending her forward for commander damage, but also hopefully making a ton of cats to defend and possibly even overrun. We're going to pass. Now, while the dragon deck has done a great job ramping up early, I do not have any other dragons in my hand, although I did draw one, so that's a good thing. I'm going to play Temple of the Dragon Queen. As it enters, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. If you don't, it comes in tapped. And as it enters the battlefield, choose a color, and then it taps for one of that color. So I will reveal Dragon Mage, so it comes in untapped. Not that I really need the mana, and I'm declaring blue. So I've put that there to kind of try and remember that it's blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, well, 5, 6, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I actually need one more blue for 7 to play Dragon Mage. A flying 5/5. When Dragon Mage deals combat damage to a player, each player discards their hand and then draws 7 cards. That's going to mess up some people, I bet you. So first of all, we got a cast trigger. So he is a nice big whopping 7 mana value. So I'm going to smack somebody for 7 damage. Doesn't really matter who, because we will be swinging in the air as well. So I'm going to smack you for 7. Then we will move to combat. And I did, in fact, see, already forgot something. Although I'm not entirely sure how important it is. But I did forget, and I probably was yelling. I will be yelling at myself as I edit this. You missed your commander damage. But commander damage from Lausanne on you. But we will continue striking you for 4 and the 5 in the air at you. So you are now at 8 commander damage and another 1, 2, 3, 4. And you are down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right, another strong turn by Dragons. I'm very impressed right now. Doesn't mean he's going to win because I know we've done that before, haven't we, team? We've every time any deck starts to go good, it's like, well, it's going to win, and then something happens and doesn't. So, but let's just be happy and proud of Dragons for doing what they do. There are no kind of end step triggers, so I'm going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. we're going to play Snow-Covered Plains, and then try and figure out what we can do to get some stuff going. Because we need. Oh, I forgot. She is a flyer with Death Touch and Lifelink. It's true. But he didn't swing a flyer at me. He just hit me direct damage, so it's okay. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Olpine Unicorn. So 1/2 that taps for 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So it's a nice little mana dork. However, it is an artifact, so it makes a fairy. So 1/1 flying fairy, but she buffs all flying creatures, so it's a 2/1 fairy. At this point, I'm not going to attack with Alela because she does have Death Touch, and so that will hopefully stop. I mean, if it gets more dragons, he's just going to go ahead and send that damage here because he knows he can get the flyers in elsewhere. That's the smart move, but we'll keep it up just in case. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Thank goodness I have a lot of green spells because I am not getting any actual colored mana for lands. All right, let's see what we can do. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play. Oh, it is a creature. Verduran Enchantress. Verduran Enchantress. 0/2. Whenever you play an enchantment spell, you may draw a card. I have 2 mana left. And we're going to go ahead and tap 4 green and 1 other to play Sanctum Weaver. 0/2 that taps for X mana of any one color, where X is the number of enchantments you control. Now, cast trigger. Well, whenever you play, so I guess just enter the battlefield. Doesn't say cast, doesn't say enter the battlefield, so it's kind of like a weird verbiage on that one. But the point is, I played an enchantment creature, so I get to draw a card. Still not a land, but that's okay. I'm not sure how long we're going to last with dragons going off crazy, but that's all right. That's fun. It's a fun surprise over there. No point in swinging the Destiny Spinner anywhere. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Going to play a Plains over here. Or, nope, sorry. Actually, what we're going to do is play a Temple of the False Gods because that's online, so we get some extra mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana to deal with. I will tap Temple of the False Gods for an Arcane Signet. I will then tap Arcane Signet and actually Arcane Lighthouse, keeping it very arcane in nature, to equip Metal Cyst to Kemba. She's getting +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So that's 1, 2, and basically that's it. So she's getting +2/+2, but that's still nice. I will then tap 3 to play Prava of the Steel Legion. As long as it's your turn, creature tokens you control get +1/+4, and you can tap to create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. I almost had to correct myself, not correct myself, but I was like, wait, why did I put a human in my cat deck? No, I can't leave him, but he's a cat soldier. So I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Because Kemba is very much about the theme. I've tweaked her a lot to go into the whole equipment aspect. Originally, it was mostly cat cards in the deck. But then I realized, oh, she really should win with commander damage, so I started adding all the really good equipments I could within a reason of, not spending like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on some of the swords, but uh, I do have a few swords in here though. But the point is, so I had to keep cutting a bunch of specific cat spells out. But I still want any creature in the deck to be a cat. Now she can attack. She's a 4/6, but she doesn't have anything special crazy in it. And the only real target to go at would be there. And see, now I want to be aggressive. I want to keep fighting and just going into combat when you can. However, I mean, swinging over here, it feels dumb. It feels unnecessary because at this point, it's our enemy. These 3 characters are scrambling to try and figure out something to deal with this. So, and I believe there might be some sort of a bounce or destruction spell that I'm going to have to use over here on this character at some point soon here. But, actually, I know because that's over there and it's a white spell and I accidentally used all the white. So it's not going to happen this turn, but I'll have to blow something up next turn. But unfortunately, we're going to pass. We're going to untap Upkeep, draw. Wow, another dragon. This is amazing. Do I have enough mana for it, though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just enough. I'm super happy. This is impressive, guys. This does not, even though it's against myself, this deck doesn't normally perform this well. You'll know I tend to say, like, well, my decks always perform great against myself and not against my friends. This one even, it does well. It does okay, but it's never gone off this fast, this hard before. So I'm very, very impressed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna cast Utar of Hellkite. It's a flying 6/6. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. Okay, I think this game's going to be pretty much over soon. This is going to be a nice record time game for us. For us here, the old Unskilled Commander. So cast trigger. I'm about to hit somebody in the face for 8 damage. Guess what? It's going to be you, because you have a flyer. Actually, you have a couple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, we're going to move to combat. I'm going to send these two at you and Dragon Mage at you. However, when a dragon you control attacks, create a 6/6 red dragon. So we're going to go ahead and make 3 6s, 3 6/6s. Now I believe it's once, like it says, whenever a dragon you control attacks, create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. So I believe it creates one for each instance, because I'm almost positive, Hellkite is a super strong card in people's, dragon decks for that reason. Because all you need to do is get to combat, swing every dragon you have, even if they're somehow small, and it doubles your, basically doubles your battlefield. And then we're going to have another really cool trigger in here as well because of Dragon Mage, I believe. Because whenever Dragon Mage deals combat damage to a player, each player discards their hands and draws 7 cards. So, okay, we've got 9 damage in the air at you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 more commander, putting you up to 12 commander. And then you are taking 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, Dragon Mage connected, or a dragon connected, so everybody discards their hand. That's great for dragons. 1, 2, 3. Is it full 7, right? Yep. 4, 5, 6, 7. So main phase 2, I'm going to play a land for turn because I didn't play one. We didn't get like a ton of dragons. We only got 1 dragon out of that. But we've got some interesting stuff going. So let's take care of everybody else first, right? Discard all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, hey, come here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now the thing is, I bet you that probably got a lot of removal or something into everybody's hands, so it's probably going to start smacking them down, but that's fine. That's deserved, for one thing. We have no more end step triggers. Nobody else has any kind of triggers, upkeep or otherwise, so we're good. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap over here, upkeep, draw, and let's see what we got. Okay, I'm going to play another Plains. Okay, going to tap 1. Well, let's see. Oh, yeah, Swords to Plowshare, that. No hesitation, just has to. Although its controller does gain life equal to its power, so they do gain 6 life. Oops, wrong way. But hey, it got rid of the thing that's going to keep making dragons, so that's good. I will then tap 1, 2 to play a Thought Vessel, which makes a fairy. Let's put these Summoning Sickness ones over here. Then I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Chromatic Lantern. It's going to make a fairy. Going to tap Snow-Covered Swamp and Island to play Baleful Strix, which enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So that's going to make a fairy because it is in fact an artifact creature, and I draw a card, which is nice. And what do I have left? I only have 2 mana left, so it's good that I did it in that order. Okay. Now, the good thing is, haha, you are vulnerable, although it's not even that much of a damage, but yeah, we're going to swing both of these at you because this is a 2/1 currently, and this is a 2/3 with lifelink. So we will go up by 2, and you will go down by 4. And you'll notice that Baleful Strix is a flying death touch. So it's only a 1/1, but now we still have a death touch flyer that can block any dragons that want to come flying this way. And we gained a little life. That's not bad. And next time, we will have a nice strong army to try and get through on the dragons if, they're still there. Or if they're not there. We're gonna pass. Well, hang on. Make sure, right? Nothing. End gaming, pass. Untap, upkeep, we're gonna draw for turn. I kind of figured I did in fact get quite a bit of land now, but that's fine. I'll play a plains for turn over here. Okay, this is going to be kind of a dick move, but we're going to do it. We're going to tap that for white, the plains, and then we're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Onslaught Crackdown. It is an enchantment, so I play an enchantment, I get to draw a card. And whenever Consulate Crackdown enters the battlefield, exile all artifacts your opponents control until Consulate Crackdown leaves the battlefield. Now that's kind of going to screw over you. So these are temporarily exiled. Spread these out a little bit more. But this is everyone else, so. And the main reason I did it was, in fact, because of these two, because we want to slow down his ability to drop out giant dragons, even though he's got plenty already. So that, slows that down. Now that's going to get rid of the equipment. That's nasty. So was that really the best move? Probably not, because it really doesn't hurt dragons all that much, but it kind of hurts everybody else. So they can't gang up on him. People might be yelling at shrines right now, probably. So that's a learning lesson for me. In a similar situation, maybe don't do that because I was like, oh yeah, get rid of his soul ring and stuff so that he can't drop the big dragons. But he still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, and even if he didn't, he's got 6 dragons that can fly. So, but I did it, so we're gonna let it play. And everyone's yelling at shrines right now. You idiot! What were you thinking? You just gave him the game. Why are we playing with Ren? I don't know. And amusingly enough, it's a 0/2, a 0/2, and a 2/3. So no one's attacking on this. Well, nope. Oh, you know what? Okay, back it up. Back it up. Do the old backing up joke from Ant-Man. Back it up. I forgot about the fact that this had 3 dragons sitting there in the air. So this attack did not happen. So you're going to gain 4 life back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to lose 2 life because you didn't get the lifelink. Because yes, okay, I caught it within a turn or so that's good. Yeah, it's not looking too good for everybody, but they're slowing it down a little bit, so we're going to pass. Okay, so I apologize. We will not be passing just yet. Give it a second to. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap Sanctum Weaver to make 1 green mana for each enchantment I control. I make X mana of any one color. So I'm choosing green and making 1, 2, 3, because I have 3 enchantments. 3 green to play Gift of Paradise, enchanting this forest, and whenever it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life, which is important right now. And the enchanted land can tap and add 2 mana of any one color. So it's a little bit of mana ramp, and it helps gain us some life right when we need it. So now I will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play plains. All right, so we're going to go 1, 2, and 3 to play Quietus Spike. Equipped creature has Death Touch. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half his or her life rounded up. I will absolutely tap 3 to equip that to Kemba. Now, she is only a 2/4, but she is a 2/4 with Death Touch, and she could swing in to, maybe take out a dragon, but it doesn't seem smart because she was only a 2/4. So any of these 6/6s will kill her, and the Quietest Spike will stay on the battlefield, yes, but then I'll have to recast and wait a turn for her to get summoning sickness going. So we might want to try and hope for the best, and I don't believe I got any really good equipments out of that draw, which is very regrettable. I didn't. That was the only equipment. That was a bit of a whiff on 7 cards, because what I need at this point is something like Trailblazer's Boots or a Rogue's Passage that would allow her to get through. So we're going to go ahead and pass, unfortunately. It's a real dragon-friendly game over here, I'll tell you that. We're going to draw for turn. It's not a dragon. All right, I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Vanquisher's Banner. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. I'm going to choose dragons. Surprise, surprise. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1, baby. Woo! Whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. So that's awesome too. Okay. Well, we're going to have some Dragon Mage action going because we are swinging away. Now, unfortunately, they've got quite a bit of blockers. So let's do some math first and see exactly what we can do. Because it's probably time to try and just eliminate somebody. Because these are now, wait a second, are those 5s or 6s? No, they are 6/6, so they are 7/7s now. I'm just going to denote it this way so that we remember properly, but obviously, they have counters on. They're just getting a buff. They don't have counters so that, they wouldn't actually go up. I just realized when I was setting up, I realized this is the only deck that doesn't have tokens sitting off to the side. And clearly I should have some dragon tokens for this very situation. And I know I have them somewhere. I'll have to dig them out. Anyway, we're going to move to combat. I don't have to worry about any kind of anything right now. So this is 21 damage right here. And then, of course, we're definitely going to swing him because we want that fun everybody discard trigger going. And 21 plus 6 would be 27 damage. So he can kill anybody. Right. So my instinct would be like, oh, 27 damage. That's enough to kill you as well. And you did your stupid shenanigans with the equipments. And when you die, those equipments would come back, I believe, because it's only until Consulate Crackdown leaves the field. So, well, I assume player removal counts as it leaving the field and doesn't just like fizzle in some weird way and keep them in exile. That I do not know. So please let me know in the comments if you know there's a bad, like, killing the player is not the best idea to get your stuff back in that situation. However, my thought is also, but Kemba's the one that has possible lower my life by half if it gets through. I think the smart move is to take out Kemba because she's a potential threat. Leave these two up for blockers for the little fairy crackback, and then take them out on the next turn, get my mana back, and dump even more spells. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and send 27 damage your way. My poor Kemba, she's absolutely one of my all-time favorite decks, and she doesn't get to show off in front of you guys, I don't think, in any of her matches, and it's very sad. And I don't think there's too many ways I can make her much better, because I've done a lot to get her mana base up, because white is a hard for ramp, and that kind of stuff. It's just, my opening hands didn't have a lot of cheap equipments. You know what I mean? So that would have been ideal. Get like 1 or 2 equipments on the field in turn like 2 and 3, turn 4 player, turn 5 equip a bunch of stuff and swing. And she does a lot of impressive stuff. But if you'd like to see her go off really good, go check out my high octane episode featuring Kemba and see just how fast she could kill the entire board if she got the perfect setup of cards. Whoa, promoting myself, how cool. But yeah, unfortunately, she is gone. But we get the trigger over here, so we're going to go ahead and put these exile cards up there. Discard and draw 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do still have 1 mana left. I don't believe that I played a land. Well, here, let's look at these. Right? Because no, I don't think I play the land. Mm, I don't know, so I'm not going to do it because I don't want to screw that up and say I did. Play one and I shouldn't have. And he's pretty well, that's the kind of thing you got to pay attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I don't believe there's any kind of end step triggers over there. So we're going to go ahead and pass over to here. So we're untapping. I'm not untapping the exiles. Draw for turn. See, we got land wise first off, obviously. Okay, we got ourselves a snow covered island. Okay, so we got to try and play this as smart as possible. And I think while I do want to dump a bunch of these creatures or a bunch of these artifacts to get more fairies, I think we need to focus on power first. So we're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Scion of Wana. It is a 1/1 fairy with flying, and other fairy creatures get +1/+1, and other fairies you control have Shroud. And then our final, we use up all the mana, so it's another buff, and we kind of need it. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 2 blacks, a blue, and one other. To play Glen Eldra Liege, a 2/3 flyer. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1. Other black creatures you control get +1/+1. And fun, Alela is both black and blue, so she gets +2/+2. And she's a fairy, so she's getting the buff from here, which now makes Alela a 5-something, 5/6 with Death Touch and Lifelink. So she's in a good position. And then these guys are getting a buff of +2/+2 and then a +1/+0 from her. So they're getting +3/+2, making them 4 threes. Oh, so much weird math. I understand why, but it sucks that she does the whole like not buffing the toughness as well. But still, we've got 4/4/3 flyers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 4/4/3 flyers and a 5/6 flyer with Death Touch and Lifelink. These, of course, are all tapped. Not that like literally turning the dice matters much, but especially I doubt you can see which way they're facing. But yeah, I mean we have to go swinging in this direction. Although, do we? Again, I know it's all about being aggressive. However, he's like, well, I hope I didn't do something stupid. Well, yes, I do have a merciless eviction, but that'll destroy all creatures, including my own. And we've already stated, I think that's a good play for next turn. I think yes. You know what? Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Merciless eviction is 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we definitely have enough mana to play it next turn. But I have a lot of blockers that now do get buffs, so they won't kill the dragons. So he might not be too intimidated in that sense. But I could stack block and kill some of the bigger dragons. So I think he's still going to want to go and get his equipments back, as we've already stated. So if he swings over here, kills him, now I only have one person to focus on. I drop Merciless Eviction, blow up everything. Then on the next turn, I play Alela and then start dropping the enchantment or the equipments I have to immediately get more fairies faster than he can get dragons back. And you might actually, that could be crazy, but fairies might be able to pull off a win. So we're going to go ahead and pass. Untap over here. Let's see what kind of shenanigans we can get going now. We'll go ahead and play a mountain for turn, so we now at least have all of our colors. Yeah, I don't think Shrines is going to be able to do anything impressive. Well, I know it can't, because the only real lockdown enchantment I have in my hand is only going to hurt Alela in this time, and we've already hurt Alela once with the Consulate Crackdown. It's not going to really do much help. It's not going to stop. Definitely not going to negatively affect dragons anytime soon. The rest of my enchantments are all about protecting enchantments and stuff. Nothing I have has flying. So we are in a bit of a pickle, boys. It's not good. But let's see what we can do. Let's see. Let's try some things. We're going to tap 1, 2, and actually we'll tap this for 2 green rather. And I'm trying to think, because it's a problem. I don't want to waste colors that. Okay, so we will keep this out. That way we have at least 4 different types of colors to play Yoshintai of Life's Origin. Let's see. So I played an enchantment, so I get to draw a card. Ooh, it's a land. That's not going to help. And then I get an extra shrine whenever Goshintai enters. And I have 4 mana left. Do I have a 4 mana? I have a 2 mana. I have a couple 2 and 3 mana enchantments that draw more cards, but I guess we'll try it. We're going to tap a green and a white to play Sterling Grove. Other enchantments you control have Shroud. So I got some really, I can't be countered. I got Shroud. I got some great setup over here. Just nowhere near fast enough to deal with what was going on with dragons. But I played an enchantment, so I draw a card. It's a Phyrexian Arena. It's not going to help. I only have 2 mana available. No, I don't. I actually have a lot more than that. Hang on. Although, again, it's just a Phyrexian Arena. It doesn't even really help. Let's do it because it's there. So I'm going to tap this to make red mana for each enchantment I control, which is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to make 6 red mana and play Hodin of Infinite Rage. At the beginning of your upkeep, unfortunately, which I will not make it to, Hodin of Infinite Rage deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of shrines you control. I now get another shrine. I'm sorry, I didn't actually read off Goshintai, but hopefully I will put it up on the screen for you anyway. So whenever you play a shrine, you make a shrine token. So I currently have 4 shrines, so on my upkeep I would deal 4 damage to somebody. But I played an enchantment, which allows me to draw a card. And I still have 3 floating red mana. 3, 4, 5. Tap for blue, and then use that 3 floating red to play Sanctum of Calm Waters. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may draw X cards where X is the number of shrines you control. If you do, discard a card. So I played an enchantment, I draw a card, but I played a shrine, so I go up with a shrine token. And unfortunately, I do not have the mana or the right colors to play anything else. First, let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So good showing from shrines in turn right now. This turn was fantastic to show you what it can do. Again, though, no flyers and nothing to stop that. So regrettable, but still good, strong showing from most of the decks except for poor Kemba. We're gonna pass. It's odd. It's like, considering how fast dragons went crazy, I'm still not done with the game, which is weird. I really would think I would have won the game by now. I'm not holding back. Izzet Guildgate comes in tapped. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 red and 5 others to cast Shivan Devastator for 5. It's a flying haste. Very good. Shivan Devastator enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. So that means it's a 5/5. And I believe, now again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please, but I believe because I paid 5 mana and the red to cast it, its casting cost for this instance counts as 6. So even though it's an X spell, I don't think Lozan is going to hit for 1, it's going to hit for 6. Because that's what I cast. Because it's equal to that spell's mana value, and the mana value I paid was 6. If it was reveal a card and something takes damage equal to the mana value, it would only be 1 because that's the only pip on it that's an actual mana value. But because I paid, I believe, I'm really strongly believing that that's correct. I hope it is, because that's how we're playing it, guys. Yeah. So Shivan Devastator enters the battlefield. Lozan is going to smack you. You're the only player. No, you're still alive. Getting ahead of myself. So smack you for. Oh, and it does come in with a +1/+1. No, it's getting buffed. Not comes in. Sorry. Take a breath. Slow it down. You're gonna take 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's awesome because now I don't have to swing as many creatures to kill you. Um, so that was the cast trigger, right? And then, here's the thing. I do not have any other dragons, so yeah, I definitely think I want to go. Now that means I will have to swing an extra one, which is a little bogus because, we got some stuff over there. Oh, that's right. We don't even realize, we didn't forgot that, well, we don't know that he's about to blow up the entire board. So that's going to slow the game down, darn it. But, okay, so here we go. Those are 7/7s with this buff. This is a 6/6 with the buff. But that is sick. We don't know that he has Merciless Eviction he's going to cast next turn, but he's not going to cast it because we're about to wheel away his hand. That is some awesome timing. That is cool. As this player, I am super psyched. As that player, I'm super pissed, but I like this. That's awesome. So we're going to combat. We swing these ones at you. So it's more than 21 damage, you're dead. Because it's 21 and 5 and 6, so it's 27. So you're going to -6. And I'm doing that, one, because it's fun to see the negatives, but also because that actually does happen. Because I posted it on one of my shorts, is an infant combo with Aetherflux, and someone was bringing up questions about, well, if you spend 50 life to shoot somebody that's only at 30 life, and you have a life link aspect, or you do it with exquisite blood, so you gain life when someone loses life. Well, they're only losing 30 life, so you don't get your 50 back, so that you can't do it again. But that's not correct because you're still hitting them for 50, and you can go to negative life in Magic. So technically, when you hit somebody for 50 in that situation, their life total would be -20. No one cares about that because, well, I'm dead. I took 30 damage, or I had 30 life. I took all your damage. I'm dead. So no one plays it out. But they would actually be at -20, so you would gain 50 life, which would allow you to immediately fire that Aetherflux laser again, Aetherflux Reservoir, we call it the laser, as I'm sure most people do, and blast another opponent, another opponent, another opponent, and win. But so I'm doing that to kind of show, like, yeah, you can go to negative life. But let's not waste too much time. I apologize. Check out some of my shorts. I got some really cool comedy stuff and some informative ones too about combos and such, and ways to save some money. Cross promotion. But all right, Dragon Mage trigger. You know what? That's stupid. No. Aha. Okay. Once again, getting ahead of myself. Take a breath. I was about to say I thought it was any dragon that hits triggers this, but it does in fact have to be Dragon Mage. So I did need to send it. So we are going to shuffle away not shuffle, but discard our hand. 1, 2, 3. Oops. That was a dragon, I think. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I have no open mana, of course. Oh, it was a good dragon too. Well, it was a. I got another one and another one. Oh boy. Yay. Awesome. So we're going to go. We'll do that over there. But there's no end step triggered. We're going to pass. Obviously, before I actually passed, I would have had to discard. Oh my god, I had Merciless Eviction. I was going to get you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now they pass turn. I untap. You're dead. So that means these do come back. Or at least that's how we're playing it, right? So all of these come back, which is good. And that means you get yours back too. So at the end of my turn, I did actually have 3 mana, but that wasn't enough to capture them. Okay, so we're going to place Temple of the False Gods. And first off, do we have any kind of board wipes? We do not, so I don't know that he's going to be able to win. Okay, so I'm going to tap these 3 and using their converted mana costs to cast Metalwork Colossus. So the way it is, 10/10, Metalwork Colossus costs X less to cast, where X is the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts you control. So I have 3 of them. 3, 6, 7, 8. So I only needed to pay 9, 10, 11 in order to cast him. And sacrifice 2 artifacts, return him from your graveyard to your hand. He is, however, a artifact, so that triggers a new fairy. 1, 2, to play Rogue's Gloves. That makes another fairy. I'm not going to worry about wasting mana to equip it. I mean, yes, you could draw cards, but obviously we want to make more fairies. Depending on how much mana we have over there, he might be able to get real close to winning the game. Possibly even win it. I don't know. I don't think so, but we're going to want as many blockers and stuff over here to try and swing over onto him. So then we're going to tap 1, 2, 3 for Alloy Myrrh. That makes another one. Oops. Actually, that's 3 total because I had to cast 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 of them. And let's see. That comes back in from exile, but I don't know that I can tap it. Because it was exile, so I don't think it counts as being. Well, no, wait. I think it does, because it died on his combat phase. So it came back as soon as he died onto my battlefield. So it was, in fact, on my battlefield at my upkeep. So it is able to tap. So we are tapping it. Batterskull, which makes another fairy. Living Weapon. Equipped creature gets +4/+4 and has Vigilance and Lifelink. A whopping 5 mana to equip it, unfortunately. We will put these 2 equipment over here. Now, here's an interesting thought that just popped into my head, and you might be saying this to yourselves already. I'm not sure. But when those artifacts entered the battlefield from coming in from exile, did that trigger Alela as well? No, they did not, because it's when you cast. As I read my commander. So that answers that question. Cool. Okay, so the buffs are all the same, no new buffs, but we do have an extra 4. I'm not going to say this is a close game, but it could, there could be a nice massive swing crossed with fairies, depending. Because at this point, in terms of flyers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 of them have death touch. Flyers over there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we outnumber them. So there's no point in him trying to swing in. He has to kill us with the casting damage and, just hope that that's enough. So we cast all those things. We made those fairies. I do not believe it is smart to try and swing in. And even if I wanted to be a smartass and try and swing in, I'm going to swing a death toucher at you. It's a 1/1. So he'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll take the 1, whatever. And then that would be 1 less creature up over here. Although, no, actually, it would be a 3/3. So, still 3 damage at this point. He's got 46. I don't think he's concerned. I do not think it is a smart. Well, okay. We've got 1, 2, 3 flyers up. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they are getting quite a good buff. So I think we would probably be stupid to not swing at this point, right? No, I mean, I don't want to waste too much time hemming and hawing around and blah, 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 but it's just like, this is a very interesting situation. Again, what would you do? Because, as I just said, we've got 8 against 3. 5 are going to get through. Even the smallest things are probably still like 3 to 4 damage. So, 5 times 4, it's almost like 20 some damage would probably get through, knocking him down to 24. However, that would only leave up 4 blockers. And on his turn, he would have like 7 attackers. So and then we don't know that he has 8 dragons, but he just got a full grip. He probably does. So he plays the dragon, dings us for like 5 minimum, and then swings in with everything. He's probably going to get it that way. Whereas if we leave everybody up, we force him to have to kill us with the dragon casting thing. So I think that's what we do. We're going to pass. All right, dragons, you are doing fantastic, my friend. Fantastic. What can you show us now? We're going to untap. We're going to upkeep. We're going to draw. I need to play a land. I did not get a land. That sucks. Okay. So what do we have mana-wise? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I think we know what we're going to do. Let's see if we can play it in the right order. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and play Terror of the Peaks, a 5/4 flyer. Spells your opponent's cast that targets Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. And whenever, more importantly, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks basically does what the commander does. It deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. Yay! So, cast trigger, 5 damage to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing else triggers off of that. Right. But now we're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Lightning Shrieker. Lightning Shrieker is a 5/5 with flying, trample, and haste. At the beginning of your end step, however, Lightning Shrieker's owner shuffles it into their library, so it's going to go away. But more importantly, we get 2 cast triggers now. Well, sort of. We've got a cast trigger and a enters the battlefield trigger. Let's be precise for all of you keeping score at home. So we are going to Lindsay Lozanne over here is going to swing 5 damage at your face because I played. Oops, no, don't get ahead of yourself. Lightning Shrieker. But when it enters the battlefield, Terror of the Peaks is going to deal damage equal to that creature's power to any target. Now here's another quandary. I think it's not going to super matter, but just for my curiosity, I wonder if it's going to see 5 or 6. Because it's when it enters the battlefield and Vanquisher's Banner say creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. So they probably see Lightning Shrieker at the exact same time. So I don't know that Terror of the Peaks is going to see the extra damage. I'm going to play it safe and say it doesn't. I'm going to say it's like it enters the battlefield, Terror of the Peaks fires off a blast, and then Vanquisher's Banner buffs it. So, but still, you're going to take another 5 damage. And this guy has flying, haste, and trample. This does not have haste, so this is down here. But we've got all of these. However, as we've said, he's got way more. She's got way more. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go ahead and just do, now that it's not that turn, 8 fairies. Well, I guess we should leave them for blockers. Sorry. Put this back to 4. My apologies. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blockers. One of them does have trample, yes. And most of these would destroy those, yes. Is it really something we want to do? Because I do have one more dragon in my hand that will absolutely kill them on the next turn. Lightning Shrieker is going to get shuffled back into my hand if it stays anyway, so it'd be stupid to not use it. Everything else we're going to leave for blockers. We're going to go ahead and go to combat, swinging Lightning Shrieker at you, a 5/5 with trample. You certainly cannot take it. And let me go around, because I want to make sure I'm getting the math on this right. Okay, so, well, that's true. Ooh, okay. What is she at? She's getting a buff of 1, 2, 3, so she is a 5/6. Yeah, she's definitely going to block. Well, see, now hindsight, she's just going to gain 5 life. However, if we can make it to the next turn, it's not going to matter. So it was a misplay in the sense that, that player should be thinking about the board state better, i.e. me. I should have realized, hey, your commander has lifelink and it should be getting enough of a buff to stop the Shrieker. So that's what's going to happen. She's going to block the Shrieker and survive it, which is impressive, and gain 5 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to be like, ah, crap, I didn't see that. Hurt you. But there's no end step triggers, no discarding of hands because the mage didn't get through. Fast turn. So we come over to here. Untap, upkeep, draw. Is it a board wipe? It's not. We'll play a land for turn, drop a 0-cost Ornithopter, which is flying, and gets a buff from her. And that makes a fairy. So now we can do the whole 8 thing and oops, easy there. 8 fairies that are ready to go. Alela is ready to go. Baleful Strix is ready to go. And then we have a fairy and an ornithopter flying over here as well. These guys. Sorry, I know I'm wasting a little bit of time, but I'm trying to get this organized. And then we've got these on the ground. And in this battle, the ground is pretty much useless. All right. Now this is, ooh, that's a good point. That's a real good point. Now, see, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't really put this on her because she's already natively got lifelink. I would try and put it on one of the other smaller fairies because it would also, it's Batter Skull. Let's, show you. Living Weapon. Equipped creature gets +4/+4 and has, oh, I already played it. Duh. Anyway, it would help buff the toughness of the fairy. But because she's got the Death Touch on top of it, putting that onto her might be a good move to gain life and survive what's coming. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, keep colored stuff. 4, 5. Use all artifacts to equip Batterskull to our dear Alela. So she is quite big now with a lot of life gain on her. That could really, oh man, it's dragging the game out, but this is surprising. All right, so now she's 2, say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So she's going to gain 9 life for us and she's bigger than any dragon over there. Although he, of course, could stack block, which would probably be the smart move anyway. There's no point. She's going to gain the life anyway, but there's no point in letting her just do it again next turn. And then I'm also going to play. Wait, affinity for artifacts. Oh, geez, I could just tap a blue because I got more than enough artifacts to play Thoughtcast. Draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Okay. I already played a land, but I will tap these 3 to make 4 mana to play Hedron Archive, which makes another fairy that is Summoning Sickness. And this taps for 2 mana of any, or just 2 colorless mana. And you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to draw 2 cards, which I believe I will do right now. Pay 2, tap it, sacrifice it, draw 2. 1, 2. Oh my gosh, that's cool. We're gonna tap 1, 2, 3 to play Bonder's Ornament, getting another fairy, and then we're gonna drop one of the few expensive cards I have, Mox Opal, the one and only I have. That also makes a fairy. Metalcraft, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, but you can only activate it if you have 3 or more artifacts. So let's try and keep all these things together, these mana makers. Oh my gosh, you are correct. I can tap both of these for the 2 mana necessary to equip Rogue's Gloves onto somebody. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So it does have to get through, and nobody has trample, but we'll toss it on her because why not? Again, it's not a stalemate, but it almost is a stalemate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what are the 7 biggest things we've got, basically, right? Well, let's say we swing with this too, right? So why wouldn't I? So 1, 2, probably 3, and then at this point, a bunch of the fairies. So it'd be like these 3, and then 3 of these, which would put that down to 5, and then these would get through. So 5 of these, and these 2 would get through. Now let's see what kind of damage that is. The fairies are currently getting a buff of 1, 2, 3. They are still just 4 somethings in the air. So 4 times 5 is 20. And then 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and that's it. So 27 damage would get through, and we would only have 5 blockers left. Now let's see. And this would die, so that double buff would be, next turn would be gone, which is not smart. And this is 2, 3, 4, so this is only a 4, so a 4, 5. This would die to a dragon. This would not die. This would kill a dragon. And then she would kill a dragon. And then the dragons would kill a bunch of those. So we would actually, the smart move would be to send like those ones that don't do anything special. Block with them, I mean. So these two would be gone, theoretically, right? Then the others would kill respectively, and she would be left with, these would survive. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't know. Sorry. So the point is, though, if I did that, everything would be tapped except for these 4. So then on my turn, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to swing back in. One would definitely get through for a minimum of 5 damage. So let's say they blocked everything except for the commander. They're all getting that buff from the banner, so that would be 5 damage. And then I know for a fact the card I have in my hand is going to double, like deal smack damage. But she will gain 9 life. So she would. What do I have in my hand? Sorry for the delay, but this is important. Like, we got to start playing really smart. So I have Brimstone Dragon. It's a 6/6 that costs 8. So I cast it. She would take 8 damage down to 2. Let's just keep this math like that. So 10 down to 2. Then the wait, do I still have that out? There it is. Yeah, Terror of the Peaks. So then Terror of the Peaks trigger would go and hit her for another 6. Oh my gosh. All right, so say it's 19. Sorry. So 19, get hit for 8, down to 11. Another 6 off of 11 would be 5. 5 gets through, she dies. So I would probably have to sit here and be like, okay, hang on, and like think really long and hard and do the math in my head from this player's perspective. But I would probably say, okay, this is how I'm blocking. And be like, okay, and not and block just right so that, oh, I did forget Terror the Peak was back here, so it has an extra blocker. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, as we've said, we're at 10 life and we know we're going to gain 9 life, so that puts us in a better spot. We kind of have to swing, right? We did all this stuff. We've got a ton of creatures. We have to swing. So, and maybe I did some math wrong. So let's go ahead and swing. He's getting no buff from anybody, and he's on the ground, but it is a 10/10, so that is still really bad. This is a 2, 3, 4. So this is a 4. This is a 1, 2, 3. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are both 4s. Okay. Actually, all of these are 4s. 9, 10, 4s, and a 3. Okay, so assign blockers. We're going to block that there. We're going to block that there. And then we will block everything else on these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll totally block the buff and the Baleful Strix. Oh, actually, we'll let the Baleful Strix go through because that's a death touch. Duh. Right? We also have this. We also have this. So let's not forget about that. So this dies. This dies and gains 9 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. then definitely going to block the buffer, of course. Give me it. Don't shake the camera. Right? And then, so that's this blocks that. Theirs are all getting that buff of 7, or sorry, buff of +1/+1. So this is a 6, this is a 6, 6, 5, 6. Terror of the Peaks blocked Glenn. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks these down to 3. So we now have, so 3 of these get through, and these 2 get through. As we've said, these are 4, so that is 12 damage. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right? Didn't I say it was going to be more than that? But I think, oh my gosh. What was that? 6? I stalled, my brain stalled out and I stopped counting. Yeah, that was like, oh my God, get out of my face, whatever you are. Was it 45? I think it was 45. So we're going to put it to 25. Like that would have been the smart way, and I realized that as I started hitting the button, and I lost what the original total was. Was it 25? You know what? I'm gonna put it at 23, just in case I screwed up, because I don't want to screw up in the wrong direction and be like, "Oh, you survived with 1 life," and then watch it while I'm editing it and like, "Oh my God, you didn't," you know? Okay, exciting battle. Because I mean, at this point, I think Alela's probably a little confident that. Well, that's a lot though. Still got 5 creatures over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so 1 creature will get through. Right, so they're like, yeah, I can at least stop your stuff. You're not going to kill me with 5 damage. And if you play another 5 or 6 drop that's still only another 5, like, you know, Alela is probably not considering the fact that Terror of the Peaks is going to do another hit. Um, there's no kind of end step triggers off of anything else. No combat damage got through, so there's no. Oh, vigilance. That's nice. Ooh, vigilance. Oh, uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter because that dragon I'm about to play has haste. But still, that's a good catch. But he didn't get through damage-wise, so there's no card draw. We're gonna. Darn, I can't believe we actually probably went over an hour, even though this game should have like. I mean, I'm having fun with this one a little bit more than most of my games, but considering how well Dragons has done, it just seems like it should have finished the game a lot sooner. So it kind of sucks that it took this long. So we're gonna untap, upkeep. We're gonna draw for turn, not a land, but that's not important right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to play Brimstone Dragon. Flying 6/6 Brimstone Dragon is unaffected by Summoning Sickness, which is the precursor to haste. Okay, so cast trigger. You are going to take 8 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then Terror of the Peaks trigger. You are going to take 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are going to go to combat. We are going to swing the board. The smallest thing I have is my commander at 5. Everything else is a 6, 7, 6, 6, 6, 7. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures. 4, 5, 6. One has to get through. You don't have anything else over there. Boom. Exactly 5 damage. Wow. There you go, guys. Dragons wins the first matchup. I'm really, really pleased with Dragons. And I think that was a really fun match. Now, to be fair, there was no real interaction. I almost played a Merciless Eviction. I played one Path to Exile. The way the state of Commander at this point in time really is, I think the meta has risen. Most people would have blown up a bunch of my dragons long before now. Someone would have board wiped. Um, so don't take this as being like, wow, your decks are pretty good. I mean, I think they are. I like my decks, but hey, It was actually a strong showing from everybody but Kemba, which is sad. But Alela came in real fast at the end and was able to do stuff. Even Shrines, while it didn't come in fast enough to even compete, it still at the very end, like the last two turns it was around, did a lot of what it's supposed to do. So on its next turn, it actually could have done some damage and some card gain and stuff. But all right, I hope you guys had fun. I hope you saw some cards maybe you want to use in your own decks. Some cool interactions. If you liked it, I do hope you please subscribe. Please check out some of my shorts and the comedy skits I have, High Octane series, and my deck break it downs. Go ahead and check out some of the older episodes. Although I'm going to tell you, be honest, you don't really need to go watch episodes 1 through 30. And I know that's a lot, but it was a lot worse back then, which isn't like it was like last year. I mean, we're not talking decades, but it was all before the upgrade of seeing the life totals and having the cards come up and stuff. And I made a lot more mistakes. I've learned quite a bit, which is the one of the first reasons of this channel. So that's awesome. It's actually working. It's teaching me to be a little bit better aware of the board state and my own cards. A lot of room to grow, but I'm getting better. And I hope maybe you're joining the journey and you get a little bit better as well. I will see you next time.